man's first disobedience and his doomed brush with unionization, whose hope for higher wages and better paid time off, sing, heavenly muse, that in the cubicle inspired memos greater than 1,000 tongues could tell. I invoke thee to aid my NDA-defying song. Oh, what cause moved new employees in that happy state, favored of the boss so highly, to fall from their employer and transgress his will? Who first seduced them to that foul revolt? The infernal union organizer, who stirred up with envy and revenge, deceived the fresh new employees, what time his pride had gotten him fired, with all his host of would-be union members, by whose aid, aspiring to become true middle class, he trusted to have equaled the big boss with vain attempt. Him the almighty boss hurled headlong in disgrace from the office, with hideous ruin and combustion down to bottomless perdition, there to dwell, without salary or health insurance. In his basement apartment Satan sat, no light, but rather darkness visible, served only to discover sights of woe. His college diploma, acquired through a mountain of debt insurmountable, and overripe avocados rotting in a bowl. He soon discerned his phone's ringtone. His ex-colleague Beelzebub to him spake. I heard of some new employees, recent college graduates. What think'st thou if we seduce them to our party, that their boss may prove their foe? We'll tell them of unions, their hope upraise for a better future. The bold design pleased highly Satan, and joy sparkled in his darkly liberal eyes. Adam, the goodliest Gen Z staffer, stood by the water cooler, fresh fountains of filtered water cascading into his stainless steel bottle. The fairest of employees, Eve, joined him. They sat down in green lounge chairs, whispering soft of their sweet spreadsheet labor. To their lunches they fell. The company gave them standing desks and their own cubicles and even free snacks. Someday, if they worked hard, they might get a window and more than 10 days PTO. Satan had glimpsed them, having snuck inside by following a careless employee, the doors ill-fenced against piggybacking. Ithuriel and Zephron, security guards, saw his visage on camera 6. With winked speed they searched, and him they there found squat like a toad, close at the ear of Eve, crouching next to her cubicle to tell of PTO and maternity leave in socialist European countries, forging illusions, phantasms, and dreams no American worker should condone. Ithuriel touched his shoulder and spake. Why sat'st thou like an enemy in wait, here corrupting innocent Gen Z youth? Satan had to flee, but he vowed revenge. Now mourn her rosy steps in the eastern clime advancing, Eve found Adam's cubicle, whence he arrived promptly at 9 each day. Thus she spake. Glad I see thy face. I've heard rumors of offense and irksome trouble. Close at mine ear, one said Europeans are treated better by their employers. They live not their whole lives in vain, working to make bosses rich while they never rest. Adam answered her thus. Socialism may come and go unapproved in our minds, but leave no spot or blame behind. I hope that what thou didst hear thou find abhorrent. The big boss in his corner office was told by Zephron of Satan's new trespass. He called COO Raphael and spake. Satan the unemployed dared to sneak in. He disturbed with lies our newest hires. Go, therefore, converse with Adam and Eve. Raphael called the new hires and spake. That thou art happy owes to our big boss. That thou continuest such owe to thyself. That is to thy obedience. Take heed. Our company is pretty nice. You could lose a lot if you talk to disgruntled ex-employees. There are worse jobs to have. Adam, model employee, thus replied, I desire to hear. Wherefore say'st you this? Raphael, after short pause, thus began. Sad task and hard, for how shall I relate to good workers the shameful exploits of bad employees? One day, our big boss said his only son would become our VP. So spake the omnipotent. Satan was mad, for he had expected a promotion. He remembered late nights, promised raises. He wanted days off, higher paychecks. He infused bad influence into a host of disgruntled workers, telling them tales of fantastic benefits unions won. Oh, argument, blasphemous, false, and proud. He should have worked with management, who could have found real win-win solutions for all. The boss and son discovered the foul unionization plotters. They fired him and his legion of co-conspirators. I say, remember and fear to transgress. Now, when as sacred light began to dawn, Eve had got to work early the next day. Satan had stolen an ID card. He waited at her cube, her attention gained. His fraudulent temptation thus began. Worker of this dank cube, resplendent Eve, want'st thou to spend most of thine mortal life burdened by irksome toil, never to see the shining light of day, never to travel the world or spend time with family? I know in your heart of hearts you once dreamt of trekking the whole Appalachian Trail, but here you sit, your youth thus withering. A union would fight for better work-life balance. Couldst not thou use separate sick days as when you got mono last year and used all your PTO and could not go home for Christmas? To whom thus Eve, yet sinless. Satan, you might have spared coming hither. Big Boss said, if I work hard, I'll become VP one day. I'll pay my college debts. I'll someday retire, do my hobbies then. To whom the tempter guilefully replied, Indeed, Big Boss said the same to me. Then made his only son VP. I had no true hope, though 10 years didst I loyally serve this company with highest reviews. Indeed, the teachers' union at the school next door is going on strike today. I'll bring thee thither if you are curious to see what it's like to fight for your rights. His words, replete with guile in her heart, too easy entrance won. At lunch they brought coffee and donuts to the picket line. Adam, waiting desirous to meet Eve for lunch, looked down from the break room window and saw Eve with Satan. With forlorn cry forth to meet them he went, and he soon learnt the fatal trespass done by Eve. Amazed he stood blank, horror chill ran through his veins. Just then Big Boss looked down from his office. He saw the heinous and despiteful acts, how Satan perverted Eve and Adam. The Most High Boss uttered thus his command. I knew those Gen Z kids were no good. Whom send I to judge them? Whom but thee, my best VP son? To thee I transfer judgment. VP son from his radiant seat rose. Down 9 floors with swift elevator winged. Approaching thus to Adam, called aloud. You're fired, both of you Gen Z traitors. To whom thus Adam sore beset replied, VP, in evil strait this day I stand before my judge, but can I get my things? To whom the sovereign's presence thus replied, No, you scum, hand your badges over now. Adam and Eve, looking back, the shining skyscraper saw so late their happy seat. Some natural tears they dropped, but wiped them soon. The world was all before them, where to choose their place of rest, and Providence their guide. They hand in hand, with wandering steps and slow, through the city took their solitary way.